All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are live for today's podcast. It's Monday, April 18th. I'm Adam Martin. It's Big Marcel. It's the MMAOB Daily Podcast. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Marcel, man, how's it going? Marcel.
Yeah, great week. Sorry, man. What the hell? Yeah,
Fell asleep for a second on me.
I had a great week. A great weekend. It's over. Thing, man. It was an okay weekend, man. How about you?
I mean, it was okay. I haven't been feeling well for like probably 2 weeks now, so just been up and down. You know, it's funny. Like, I don't have COVID or anything, but like as soon as they ended the mask mandate in Ontario, I haven't been feeling well. So I'm like, all right, maybe I should put it back on. But no, I'm done with it, man. I can't do it, Marcel. I can't do it. I'm going bowling after this. Some of my friends at bowling are still wearing it while they're like exercising. Basically, I don't know how these people are doing that, but it is what it is. Let's got some comments. What's going on, man? Aldo gets Aljo. I mean, that'd be a good fight. We'll see if it happens. I think it's a good chance. Joe's here. I give Joe a shout out. He was the one picking Belal last week in the chat. Hey, Andrew, what's up, man? Raw Torque, what's up, man? Hope all you guys are doing well. But yeah, Marcel, I mean, it was a good weekend of fights in general. I think, I mean, between Bellator and UFC, like, it's not like it was the best UFC card, though. I'll say that right now. You know, it was not a great card. I think just between the two, it was okay. You know what I mean? Like, an LFA was actually pretty good, too. We could talk about that. We talked about that in DM today. But yeah, I mean, the UFC card was one of the weakest cards of the year. Like, it was probably one of the worst cards of the year. Like, I'm not trying to be too negative, but I'm guessing, like, you agree with me on that?
The UFC card, dude. I gave it a 3 out of 10. So yeah, it were maybe 2 or 3 good fights, but it fucking sucked, dude. And it started at 2:30 a.m. over here, and I was like, listen, I always write a recap after it when I still have time. So I was like, if the UFC card is done at like 5:30, 5:15, I still have some time to do it before 7 a.m. And dude, that card went till 6 a.m. in the morning, man, and it fucking sucked. I just can't say anything else. It sucked.
Yeah, I know. And also, Andrew reminded us of Ryzen is also this week.
Yeah, also,
there was a lot of other like MMA cards that were probably honestly better than the UFC cards.
CFFC.
Yeah, that's another one. I mean, that's kind of rare. Like, let's be honest. Like, the UFC is the cream of the crop. We all know that, right? But occasionally, they're going to be these cards more so where it's just not as exciting. I think that as some of the other ones, and this one was not great. You know,
and on Saturday it starts even 30 minutes later. What's up with that? And they're still doing those basketball playoffs. And when the main card started, I hear from the people in the US, they didn't even have it on ESPN. They had it on ESPN News. So what's the deal? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Got some other guys in the chat. That's wrong. Don't spread fake news. Hey, Matt, appreciate it, man. Thanks so much, buddy. Marcel said you broke the news necessary. Lima Jackson had COVID or injury. Yeah, that sucks. That fight's off. That's one of the better fights that was coming up. Douglas Lima and Jason Jackson. Damn it.
I just got told that it was off and it will be rescheduled, but was not given a reason, so I don't know.
Yeah. But the one guy did mention Jones. I mean, I don't think this is going to happen. But Dana White told TMZ yesterday that that's the plan. Miocic versus Jones. But I'm not getting my hopes up, Marcel. I know everyone's talking about this now, but I'm not even like excited at all because I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, it would be an amazing fight if it did, but I think you feel the same way as me, right?
People are way too quick with it. The thing is, when Dana says we're working on that, an hour later somebody say it's in the works, and 2 hours later it's set apparently because all these sides taking it from each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. So. I mean, it's what I think Mike MMA Spick said it on Twitter today. Like, until pen hits the paper, it's not a done deal, and definitely not with John Jones against Miocic.
It's anyone.
Yeah, and also for the same thing, I know Hunter Campbell said to Okamoto, JJ versus Zhang is going to happen in Singapore. They're still debating if it will be a 3-rounder or a 5-rounder. So if you're still debating that fight is still not signed. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. I mean, that's a big difference. I hope that fight's 5 rounds. There's already 2 title fights on that card. They're 5, so it's possible it might not be. Expected Usman beyond for where Dana wants Stipe. Jones. Yeah, I mean, there's actually 2 cards in July, guys. There's 2 pay-per-view cards. So I think the second one is Adesanya and Cannonier, I believe. That's the plan. July 30th or something, but the July 2nd or 3rd one, whatever. That I mean, I thought it'd be Usman, but the thing is, there's also a London card now. They could do that fight in England with Edwards. I doubt it though.
I honestly expect, and I don't know if it's correct, but I expect the July 2nd card to be Usman, Cannonier, and Adesanya against Usman against Edwards and Adesanya, Cannonier, and the late July card to be Brandon Moreno, Figueiredo 4, and Amanda Nunes against Pena. That's what I expect.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's get in there. And yeah, Glenn, the Liverpool card, I believe. Let's get in there. Let's get in the card for you. Let's go for UFC Vegas 51. I mean, honestly, guys, I knew it'd be a hard card going into it, Marcel. You know, I went 8-6 in my pick, so it was not a good night. One prop on Borralho by decision, which we're going to talk about, that saved my night, plus 400. Otherwise, it would have been not a good night. I'll just say that. Thankfully, that did hit. I don't know how it hit, but it somehow cashed. I have no idea. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let's go through the main event first, because I was on Luque here and I lost. And he just looked really bad in this fight, I thought, Marcel. It just wasn't his usual self. He wasn't aggressive, really. Didn't really do much. He did get Belal hurt at one point, but you know, this is the guy nicknamed the Silent Assassin because he goes after you, right? In this fight, like he had Belal rocked in the third round, just didn't follow up on it. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Marcel, he was rocked.
Yeah.
And he didn't do much. And then obviously Belal with the wrestling basically won the fight. It was not an exciting fight. And it sucks when it's not an exciting fight and your guy loses, but you know, credit to Belal. He nullified Luque, gets the job done here. You know, it's going to get Belal top 5 guy. But for me, it's like, yeah, Belal, you know, he used his wrestling, won the fight. But I just don't think this was Luque at his best, man. I really don't think it was, guys. Like, here's the thing. Like, he's a person. He's a human, right? Every day we wake up, we might not be having the best day, Marcel. I think it was just one of his off days. I really do. Like, that was not the best. Or even like that was probably the worst Luque we've seen since he fought Michael Graves in the first fight in the UFC. He just wasn't himself in this fight, man. Again, I'm giving Ball credit with the wrestling and everything, but like I think Luque could have finished him in the third round. Just didn't go for it, didn't pull that extra trigger, and ends up losing a decision and really sets him back in the division. But for Belal, it's a good win. So give me your thoughts, man, because this fight went completely different than the first, obviously.
I mean, the real trouble here for Luque is that he lost to Edwards, he lost to Stephen Thompson, and now he lost to Belal, and it's still the same damn time when people think now he's going to make it into the top 5. You know what I mean? He loses those fights. So, and he didn't look good at all. You know what I mean? Belal looked solid, or solid the way he looks solid. He looks solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's listen, man, Belal. I really like it. I like what he does. You know, he does it very well, but style bores me out. But he does what he does. You know what I mean? Yep. So, for Luque looked really off. And like you said, man, he had the chance in the third round, which was the only round he won, in my opinion, to go for broke, you know, and win the fight to end it, but he didn't. Also, somebody in the corner of Luque after the fourth round said it is 2-2, and I was like, dude,
it was clearly 3-1.
Yeah, and people were even debating with me on Twitter that it was 2-2. No, if you think that's 2-2 going into the fifth round, you have either money on Luque or you are a Luque fan or you don't like Belal. It's either that way because Belal clearly won 3 rounds, you know. Yeah. So it was 3-1. And it's just bad corner advice, man. Even if you think it's like more horrible Antonio McKee against AJ McKee that it was 4-0. Yeah. That's even more horrible. That too. Yeah. But I mean, what's that? I don't understand that. You know, I really don't understand that. Why people who are in the corner coaching saying that to their fighters, man? It's just so stupid. And then people come up with, oh, we need open scoring. No, you don't need open scoring, man. You need to use common sense.
How would open scoring, like, how would it really fix this? Was he just going to, like, turn up extra gear all of a sudden? Like it wasn't like he wasn't trying to knock him out? Yeah. I don't agree with the open scoring argument at all. I'm not going to get into it, Marcel. I don't think it's necessary at all. I think you do need better judges in the sport, but I don't think having the scorecard, like, they have it in Invicta, you still see controversial decisions, dude. Like, it doesn't change that.
But the fun thing is also people saying, like, but then the other fighter goes for broke. Yeah, and the other fighter
they weren't going to do that already, like in a normal fight. I know what you're saying.
But the other fighter knows he's up 2 rounds and doesn't do shit anymore. You know what I mean? So it's the other way around as well. So
I'm not even going to get into it. I feel like it's a particular group of people pushing it, you know, from a certain MMA website. Yeah. It's the only people saying it. Anyways, I'm going to go through the comments, guys. Hey, Marcus, what's up, man? Vicente disappointed me. Yeah, me too. I was pretty surprised. Like, I don't think the fight was that close, you know? Like, it just really wasn't. Hey, Andrew, he says, never would have guessed what Belal would do to Wonderboy did to Luque. I was surprised he honestly did it to both guys. Like, you know, like, both those guys have fought pretty good wrestlers. And yeah, they've been taken down, but Belal's really just held them down. You know, the thing is, though, he doesn't go for any ground and pound. He doesn't go for any submissions. I think he has what? I want to say, let me double check. I don't want to get this wrong. But Belal has 21 wins in his career. He only has 5 finishes. He has 16 wins by decision. Marcel. Like, he's a decision machine. I'm not saying it's a bad way of fighting. GSP was also a decision machine. He was one of the better welterweights of all time, one of the best fighters of all time, quite frankly, obviously. So I understand that's part of the sport, but like, I don't know if this like will really get him that fight that he wants, because I think Dana or them are looking for him to go for a finish. Marcel, any thoughts on that?
It's very simple what you do next, man. You put him up against Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns just lost against Kamzat, a very close fight, but he lost that one. And Burns is Vicente Luque's teammate. So I mean, the story writes itself. Makes sense. Yeah, and we say that simultaneously. That's beautiful.
It just makes a lot of sense. I agree. And then for Luque, I mean, man, I'm just so disappointed. Like, I think he needs to take some time to regroup. I don't know what happened. Again, could have just been a bad day. Could have been sick. I don't know. He's had a bad fight. I mean, I guess Stephen Thompson, does he have a fight booked or no?
No, you can do
that
the
makes
rematch.
Sense. There you go. There you can do that fight again.
But if you're looking for a new contender and you want to see if Luque is still legit, do Tom Brady. No, Sean Brady. Yeah,
Tom Brady. Tom Brady's gonna make his UFC debut against Vicente Luque. No, Sean Brady makes sense. I mean, I don't mind the Thompson rematch though, because they just both lost to Belal, so I think it makes sense too. If Masvidal fights again, that would make sense. I mean, there's a lot of fights here that were fun fights, for sure. Tons of fights. So I think at this point, Marcel, I don't think Luque's an elite guy. I think we've seen that now.
By the way, now you're bringing up Jing Liang, guys. There is a report out that Jing Liang is fighting Salikov in Singapore, but I got told Jing Liang is not able to make it to Singapore in time, so that fight is not going to happen. That's not a good report.
What do you guys think the betting wants to be for Belal versus Gilbert? I think Gilbert would be favored for sure, especially after that last fight. Probably like 2-1 Gilbert, maybe like less. But like, I don't think it'd be crazy. Probably like around the same as this line, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think Belal would be the small dog, like not a crazy dog. Maybe like less, maybe like minus 170. I think in that like 1.5 to 2 minus 200. It's somewhere in that market, because I think there's a lot of hype on Burns right now. Obviously, after going 5 or 3 hard with Kamzat, like almost finishing Hamzat. Belal obviously just beat Luque though, and he's proven that he can go 5-2. So it'd be a good fight. It just makes sense. All right. Let's go to the co-main event, Marcel. Caio Borralho defeats Gadzhi Omargadzhiev via technical unanimous decision. This was so fucked. Okay, so I had money on Caio. I told you
we called that he was going to win.
Yeah. Like I said, there was no tape on Gadzhi, so why was everyone so high on the guy besides the one fight? Caio is a really good fighter, okay? Yeah, I think he's proven it now, Marcel. 2 wins in contender, 1 in the UFC. He is a very good fighter. That being said, man, oh my God, I was shaking my pants because, like I said, it was just a bad night. Like, a couple of the other dogs I bet on hit. Luque lost. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, at that point, I didn't know. I actually thought, he'd win, but I'm like, please don't get DQ'd, please. Like, because we'll talk about the other fight earlier in the night with Barton Boudet. I mean, we might as well talk about them both right now because they kind of both. We got to talk about it. Big Dan was the ref in both fights. Basically, what happened was both guys were completely dominating their opponent, and they both landed a legal strike in the 3rd round. Caio's fight, it was clearly down to opponent. I mean, it sucks. I hate the rule. Like, the guy had a finger on the mat. It's a horrible rule. This should be allowed. You should be able to finish a guy from that position. Anyways, it is against the rules, and you broke them. It's just weird because some commissions will allow that, Marcel, without a knee down, and some don't. That's the part that's stupid. Like, why are there different rules between different states and countries? It's really dumb. Anyways, referee takes a point, but doesn't DQ him. I don't get it. I thought because he took a point, he had to be DQ'd. That's the first time in MMA I've ever seen a guy get a point taken on a fighting foul and then get allowed to win the fight. And then the other fight, we'll talk about this now too. We got to talk about this. And by the way, I needed that decision prop. It was plus 400. So I did nail that one. But because Marcel, otherwise, it just wasn't a great night for me. I mean, I took some dogs that just didn't hit, and Luque, like I keep saying. I know a lot of people feel the same way. But, the Boudet fight, we got to talk about that quickly too. So his fight, dominating Chris Barnett, and then lands an illegal strike to the back of the neck that's deemed accidental, not intentional. I don't understand how was it not intentional. We're like this to the guy. Not only was it back of the head, it was also 12-6. So he broke 2 rules on that and went to decision. Now, in both cases, the better fighter won. The guy who deserved to win won. But man, I remember when Michel Pereira fought Diego Sanchez Marcel in the 3rd round, and he was dominating the fight, then landed the illegal knee. And Diego's like, "Do I win the fight if I lose?" Or if I stop now? He's like, yeah, it's a DQ win for you. Like, why would you fight? Remember that? He asked the ref, and they told him. And then obviously Peter Yan lost his title on the 4th round. Like, I guess because of that, the referees are really hesitant now. But fucking Dan Murray, he was also the ref in that fight with Kevin Holland and Kyle Dawkins, where there was that accidental headbutt or clash of heads, and he let the fight go. And then they reviewed it after he finished the guy. this guy's just a shitty ref at this point. I'm sorry to say it, but he is. He's past his prime. And Marcel, he doesn't make a decision. He won't make a call. And as a ref, if you have hesitation, you shouldn't be doing this anymore. So, like I said, I got lucky on Kyle because I think he should have been DQ'd. And he said in his post-fight, he's like, I was apologizing. I thought I was going to get DQ'd. Boudet said I thought I was going to get DQ'd. I've never seen this happen where a guy lands an illegal blow, ends the fight, and doesn't get DQ'd. So, I don't get it. I don't know what happened here. Especially in the Kyle fight, because guys, he had a point taken, and then they're like, okay, you'll have a point taken, but we're going to the scorecards. We're not DQing you. And then they're trying to figure out like what happened. So basically, like, it was a legal shot, but the doctor said he could continue. He didn't want to continue. So then why wasn't it a TKO then? Why was it a decision then? I'm just so confused by this. Don't get it. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to see the comments, but go ahead, Marcel. Give me your thoughts.
I remember, for example, when Mark Smith with Piotr Jan and Aljamain Sterling, it was like when Jan did it, he was like having I don't know if I can say, it was like having a stroke. Not accidental, but what is the other there? If it's accidental, what's the other?
Unintentional?
Intentional fall. He's like, intentional fall. He couldn't go back. He was so into it. The thing is, man, with Caio Borralho, let's talk about the fight first, man. He was dominating Gadzhi Omargadzhiev. Was doing very well. And he landed that illegal knee. And that was hard. The thing that bothered me with that one was that Omargadzhiev didn't really have a reaction to it. So he was like, he felt the illegal knee, and he looked at the ref, and the ref was like, yeah, illegal knee. Oh, I'm going down. I was like, dude, you're also faking it. So, and it was a hard knee, true, but he was faking it as well, the way he went down, So I had no problem with Caio getting the decision win. It's not the right thing to do, but I didn't have a problem with it. The crazy thing, what I thought was funny, actually too crazy, was that Borralho went over to Omargadzhiev to apologize, and then made a picture with him with the thumbs up next to it.
I saw that. That's pretty funny. I was gonna say I have a friend, and he had a parlay with Omargadzhiev. He's like, man, this sucks. This is such a bad beat. I'm like, dude, how is that a bad beat? Your guy got his ass kicked, and you're playing DQ. That's not a bad beat. So Barnett or on also, that's not a bad beat. They should have won by DQ, but it wasn't a bad beat. And
also with Barnett, Barnett got hit by Boudet, and I still not the 12-6. I agree with you, so it's illegal, but I'm still not sure if it was the back of the head where we hit him with, because now they're saying it's only.
I agree with that. I think it's 12-6. That's what I thought.
That's okay, but they say back of the head, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but the 12-6 I agree with. So the thing is, also Barnett was milking it, because Barnett went down and he was like, I might get a DQ here. Let's see what happened. That was the going through process, and people don't want to hear it because they love Barnett. And I do as well, but it's the truth,
I mean, like, you're playing the game. Like, it's not a bad thing to do to try to get it. I mean, you're playing the game. It's a game, Marcel.
I disagree, man. So when the doctor came in,
then he was okay, right?
he hear that the ref was like, if you can continue, we can go to the scorecards. He did hear that. The ref said, So then it was like, oh no, I can fight. And then the doctor said, like, no, can't fight anymore. Look at the eyes.
Marcel, here's the thing: these guys are getting paid like 10 and 10, dude.
I understand.
They need to take any.
I understand, but then you have to
get in the fight.
Then you have to change the rules. You know what I mean? Then you have to or apply the rules in the right way. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. But he was overplaying it as well. But still, Boudet made the mistake, and if he got the loss, it was his mistake. You know what I mean? Yeah. So end of the day, he made the mistake. But I don't like the acting, man. It's becoming like this. I love soccer. It's becoming like soccer.
I don't think you're wrong. I'm going to say that, but I'm just saying, like, these guys are making so little money that if they can get that small window of opportunity to take a DQ, I don't blame them. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think it's like going against the spirit of martial arts, but there's a lot of stuff that doesn't in the sport, So that's my thoughts on that. But yeah, just bizarre, man, just bizarre. And I got to take this point too, because Glenn's right. They probably would have both lost, right? But they would have had like 2 minutes left in the fight, each guy, to land that Hail Mary punch. And they didn't get that chance. And then the other guy automatically wins. That part doesn't make sense either.
I agree with that as well.
So it's just really weird. It doesn't make any sense. Like, listen, they're probably going to get their both, like, just lose, but they had that slim, like, we've seen guys get knocked out with 1 second left. It's not like it can't happen. It's happened.
Adam, the problem with these guys is that they were expecting a DQ. That's what they were expecting. So when the doctor checked on them, they were like, oh, no, I can't continue.
Well, they saw Aljo do it. They saw Aldo do
yeah,
it.
exactly.
They
Yeah,
won the belt
so,
doing it. You know.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, dude. You know, so you had it as well with I think with Eric Anders and Darren Stewart, and that went to a no contest. Remember?
Yeah, that should have been a DQ, honestly.
Yeah.
But why is that not a DQ? It doesn't make sense. This is a good question about Benoit Saint-Denis. I think you said he was fighting.
He's fighting on June 4th, indeed, but I have no idea against who.
Yeah,
I would say Al Zelino, we probably will post it soon because he has good contacts there, I think. So he also posted that he's fighting on June 4th, so he probably knows more.
For sure. All right, let's go to the next fight. Andre Fialho knocks out Miguel Baeza. Man, Baeza he's not the same guy. 3 straight losses number. So, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, Fialho's got power. I knew it'd be a close fight. Baeza did rock him earlier in the fight, just couldn't get it done. And Fialho really rode well with the punches and then survived and knocked him out. So, any thoughts on this? He gets a bonus 50,000.
You know, I fucking all butchered the Sanford MMA fighters picks on Saturday. I went 0-3. I picked 2 wrong winners and 1 wrong loser. So, yeah, I mean, he did well. He actually, it's like I said, and like you said, I think as well on the podcast last week. Fialho is very dangerous, definitely in the first round. You know, he can knock you out there, and he did to Baeza. You know, and Baeza, man, it sucks to see, dude. I think he's a big talent. You know, he lost to Ponzinibbio in a close fight, but he lost that one. The Chaos Williams was Chaos Williams, right? He fought.
Yeah.
It was 1-1 going into the third, I think, and he made a mistake. He overcommitted and he got knocked out. And now he got knocked out again. I think he's a good talent, but man, it will be tough. I hope the UFC gives him another fight, but match him up against a guy who doesn't have that much of a knockout power. You know what I mean? But give him kind of a bounce back fight, dude. The dude is, in my opinion, too talented to be not in the UFC. But on the other hand,
Brown rock him a little bit in their fight.
Yeah, he did. He almost finished him in the first round.
That's what I'm saying. This guy's got a chin issue, it seems like, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I think he's a fun fighter.
He is. They'll give him another fight. I mean, he's lost to some pretty good fighters, you know. So he'll get the last fight, but he's got to win that fight. You know, I don't think they keep around past that. I think he'll get another fight.
I think, by the way, if they cut him, Colby will be very pissed because he's one of the training partners of Colby, right?
Yeah.
So MMA Masters.
Baeza, Jason Witt. That makes sense, you know. Jason Witt can
do it.
Otherwise, he gets knocked out. So that's a good fight. That makes sense, Jay. I agree. They cut Baeza, keeps Sano and Gilmore. I know that's the thing. It's weird. Like
Sano is gone as well, I think.
Yeah, is he after the one fight? Yeah. Okay. By the way, I did give you credit on this, man. I tweeted about it. You had it first, and then MMA Fighting breaks to 2 weeks later. Nice job, dude. Demiris Magula and Guram Tatlaze. I know Marcel was trying to get confirmation. You couldn't get the date, and then the other guys broke it. But it is what it is, you know. Nice job, buddy, for getting that in the chat. All right, next fight. Myra Bruno Silva defeats Wu Yayan. I know you got some thoughts on this one. You know, first off,
oh god,
I talked about this last year. You know, I think that they have to give the women fighters a certain amount of bonuses as well. How was this fight of the night? It was an okay fight.
You're about to get canceled, but I fully agree.
I mean, I don't think it's the truth though. Like we talked about the fight of the nights. Remember, I showed you guys the list of last year. It was like all men fighters, and at the end of the year, they started giving the women fighters like the Mallory Martin fight with Shannon Bliss was just an average fight and gets fight of the night. That's what I think happens here. They should give the women fighters bonuses too. I'm not saying they shouldn't. You know, I just don't think this was a fight of the night. Like it was an okay fight. It wasn't a bad fight. It was a pretty good fight. Silva won the fight clearly. You know, I don't understand how some people are saying Yanan won this fight. Wu won the fight. I just don't think they deserved $50,000 each. Are you kidding me? Like we've seen so many guys have amazing fights and not get bonuses, and then all of a sudden this fight gets fight of the night, and then you know, Alatang has a knockout in 47 seconds. It doesn't get a bonus. I don't get it. But like I said, I think there's a certain amount of bonuses they have to give to the women fighters. And I don't think that's a bad thing because I think they should divvy it up. I mean, let's be honest. There's more finishes in men's fights, right? So they're more likely to get the performance bonuses. That's the thing. That's why they have to give the women the fight of the night once in a while. And go ahead.
If you give it to the women, then give it to the better fight of the women of the night. Give it to Landsberg against Kiamzat. It was a better fight. It wasn't a great fight. It was a better fight.
I was going to say, Marcel, that fight was the better fight. That to me, that was the best fight in the card.
that's so
I think I told you guys. I think Panny's like a really good fighter. I really like watching her fight, man. She stands and trades with anyone. I love it, and that should have been a fight that she got dropped with that elbow, survived, came back and won in the third round. That's the thing, you know. They gave it to the wrong fight. They did, Marcel. You know, so I don't know why they gave it to this fight. I don't think it was like I said, a bad fight, but it was just an okay fight. You know. Anyways, so any thoughts on it?
Yeah, definitely. So I got a lot of slack for that on Twitter. that I said that it was a clear win for Wu Yanan. And people would think, or for Mayra Bueno Silva, and people would think that Wu Yanan won that fight and suck my nose. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, come on, how can you say that she won that fight? The second round, she had top control a few times. She didn't do shit with it. You know what I mean? And the third round, she punched air for most of the time. You know, like I think like you said she had like 20% of her strikes landed. So it's I don't get it, you know. And people are like, "You really like Bueno Silva, or you really have money on her, dude." The only thing I like about Bueno Silva is her significant other, and for the other thing, for Bueno Silva, she's an okay fighter, but I'm not a huge fan of whatever, you know. I don't have any money on her either, you know. So I'm just saying what I think, but and what I see, and I think most, if you look at MMA decisions, everybody had to fight for Mayra Bueno Silva because Mayra Bueno Silva won the fight, and at worst, she won 29-28. At worst, you know, I still think she won all 3 rounds, but. Okay, give 1 round to Yanan if you want, but I think Yanan is gone, man. 5 fights, 1 win, 4 losses.
You don't think they'll give one more fight? Maybe that Singapore card. She just won fight of the night, dude. She just won fight of the night.
Oh yeah, fight of the night. Yeah, yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, but I mean, also people coming after me for this. I'm like, dude, if this was a high-end fight, I understand you coming after me for this fight. Why you care? You know what I mean?
1-4 now in the UFC.
Sorry,
she's 1-4 in the UFC now.
Yeah, so
yeah.
It's weird to me.
Anyways, I just think it's weird sometimes how they do the bonuses. That's all. When I fight Chris Lee, that's funny. Sam Hughes fight was better. Yeah, it was a pretty good comeback.
You should see people coming after me saying like, "Yeah, but DC says that." You know, DC says that leg kicks don't score.
Yeah, I know. We got to talk about that in a second too. Let's go to the next fight here. Pat Sabatini defeats TJ Laramie. I thought it'd be a little more competitive, Marshall. I got to be honest with you. Like TJ survived, but Pat Sabatini's really good. I think at this point, he deserves someone in the top 50. I mean, this was a pretty dominant performance. I think he could have finished the fight in the first round with that body kick. I do think he could have finished. You know, he could have followed up and just didn't do it. But yeah, gets the job done. He definitely deserves something in the top 15, Marcel, right?
The funny thing, like I said last time with Pat Sabatini, is in his most difficult fight, he actually finished his opponent. You know what I mean? And that was against Jamal Amors, you know, where he almost got finished himself in the first round. So, yeah, I think Sabatini deserves somebody in the top 15, man. I would really like to see it. I don't know who, but I think he deserves it. He showed it. Really solid ground game. And yeah, he had a very good win on Saturday. And for Laramie, people like to shit on Laramie as well. Dude is 24, man. 0-2 in the UFC, but he has a good future. And like you said last week, guy has a win over Charles Jourdain and TKO. And that's not a small win. You know, Jourdain is a legit fighter, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Just seeing some thoughts of there's Hall, Dawadu. Those are good fights. I just think he deserves someone who's in the top 15 right now, personally. The problem with the top 15 is there are some guys that shouldn't be in there, too. But yeah, I mean, it's really crowded. You know, I think Yusuf would be a good fight. That would make sense. Barboza would be a fun fight. You know, any of these fights. Actually, Barboza would be a really good fight. Does he have someone booked right now? Does he have a fight booked?
No, I don't think he has.
That'd be a good fight, man. I think that'd be a really good fight, especially after seeing him land that body kick. I would like to see that. So that's my thoughts. I don't think TJ is the right frame for 145 in the UFC. He's got to do something different. I don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to drop to 135? Can he do it? Like, it's weird though, because like he did beat Charles Jourdain, right? But it's like it's almost like he's gotten worse, man. I don't know. I don't want to say that because he's young and you know he fought a really good fighter, but he's not really improved. Marcel, that Jourdain fight was like 4 years ago. You know, he's not winning fights since then. You know, so I know he beat the guy in Contender though. He did look good in that fight, but you know. Anyways, let's go to the next fight here. Yeah, I was wrong. We were both wrong about this one. Andrew loses to Munar Laziz. So, got some thoughts on this fight. So, first off, I mean, it was a clear win for Munar.
For sure.
Gets the decision. You know, I've been thinking lately, you know, here's the thing. Short notice guys do win, but when they're not already in the UFC, Marcel, I think we got to take that more into consideration from now on. You know, for me anyways, I'm on you. Because he is a good fighter, but there is octagon jitters, you know? And he didn't have any really training camp for this guy. He pretty much got teed off on for 3 rounds more. So he's a tough dude. This was a pretty good fight, actually. This could have been fight of the night, I think, potentially too. But it was just too much of a high-level striker, man. He couldn't handle it. I thought he was going to wrestle more. I didn't like the game plan here on short notice. I think he should just went for wrestling, not just stood and traded. But yeah, Munir looked good. But obviously everyone's just talking about his post-fight thing. I mean, if you have any thoughts on that, you can hear. I'll share my thoughts after you. But if you want to say anything, you can go ahead.
Yeah, let's first go to the fight. The thing is, Angelusa was really hesitant with letting things go, and he was like, Lazis was perfectly controlling the distance and picking his shots, so he clearly won 30-27, and he pretty much put an excellent exclamation point on it in the last 10-15 seconds. Yeah, the post fight. The UFC actually cut it from their YouTube, that last part. He shouted out Daniel Kinahan, who is from the Kinahan clan or something in Ireland, who is also tied to MTK, the management team, where a lot of fighters are. I think Tyson Fury is there with Darren Till. Many guys are with MTK, but it's not like it's an unknown thing that it's getting backed by MTK. You know what I mean? So it's like people are really surprised about it. Is it a smart thing from Lazes to shout him out? Definitely not. Do I think they should do something about it? I don't think the UFC does something about it, but I really think that probably behind the scenes they told him, like, don't do that again. It's a pretty bad look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they said something like that. And it's like, now the media is coming like, oh my God, these guys get backed by Kinahan. It's like, yeah, like we didn't know that before. So it's like, I understand that people are talking about it, but it's getting blown way out of proportion again.
I agree completely. So first off, I mean, it just sucks he said this because it was a good performance, man. He looked really good in this fight. This was just stupid. Like, why did he say this? I've watched the post-fight presser a few times. I don't think the guy asking the question had there's no issue with that, asking the question, I do think, he was almost interrogating him at some point, which is not really, cool. I don't think he asked him 4 times, but it's the same question. I think Munar gave a fair answer. He basically said, I need to educate myself on what happened. I wasn't aware of it. I'd want to believe him here, Marcel. I want to believe he's been so focused on his fight this week that he didn't read the news. Not everyone reads the news, Now I understand it's his buddy and he should know this. I'm just saying, like, I want to believe that he didn't generally know. Okay. I wanted to say that. That being said, it was a stupid thing to say. And he's probably going to end up, I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, he could just lose a lot of fans from this, first off. I don't know if the UFC will do anything, but it's just a bad look on him. All I'm saying is I think that he gave an answer to the question, in my opinion. And I think, after asking the same question 4 times, he said, can you guys ask me about my fight? And the guy said, I don't have any questions about your fight. And I think that's not cool because this guy just put his heart and soul in the cage for 15 minutes. And I think you should ask him about the fight. Marcel, that's all I'm going to say. I think it was totally fair to ask that question. But once he answered it multiple times, I think it's fair to ask him about the fight itself. That's all I'm going to say. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, we're here to talk about the fights, aren't we? So
yeah, I agree, man. And also, like, listen, man, if you ask the same question twice and you don't get the answer you want, you don't have to ask him the 3rd time. You know what I mean? So
I think it was 4 questions, dude. Like,
yeah,
it was a lot. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like he was looking for an answer and the guy wasn't giving it to him. Like, at that point, you just kind of got to move on. It's not, this guy's not being interrogated here. It's a post-fight interview after a fight. He was just in a cage for 15 minutes fighting someone, Yeah, I understand he opened himself up to it. I don't think asking the question was bad.
No.
I don't think following up on it was bad either. But I think at a certain point, he was giving answers. The guy didn't like the answer he was giving. That's all I'm saying, Marcel. So, and then today got blown out of proportion. And, it's tough because, like, so me and Kareem Zidane was one of the first guys that I befriended. He used to live in Toronto and we were really good friends at one point. He doesn't live in Toronto anymore, so we kind of lost touch a little bit. But he is a very good friend of mine. But he obviously is very outspoken about certain things, including things like this Kadyrov, etc. Sport washing, they call it, I believe, and I agree that it was sport washing, by the way. Now today, people are going after him all because it basically started with this Kinrahan thing, and then obviously the New York Times thing as well with Kadyrov. It's just, I feel like this Kinrahan thing really set off all these people on Twitter now, and like people bring out the pitchfork, guys. Like, everyone needs to fucking calm down. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, it's gone crazy. Like, and people are like, people threatening people now. They're basically doxing people now. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, guys, but like it's pretty intense out there. I just stay away, man. I just try to talk about the fights. I don't care about this stuff that much. But any thoughts, Marcel?
I think my answer of that as well, man. That's the thing. Like, thing is, it's good to be aware of it. You know what I mean? But your reporting shouldn't be 99% about bad stuff in MMA. You know what I mean? And listen, man, I understand that you want to have some real news and journalism and this and that. But if you write like all the time about Kadyrov, about Kinahan, about this and MMA, it's like at a certain moment people are gonna turn against you. You know what I mean? And I don't say he does a bad job at all. You know, I don't say that. But the thing is, if you um, it almost feels like that some people in the sport who are journalists and don't actually like MMA. You know what I mean? They like to write about MMA when something is wrong. When Connor drives too hard and he drives into a tree or something, it's immediately there for certain people. You know what I mean? For an article, everything what is negative, they keep bringing that up. You know what I mean? But for me, it's like I understand that the negative side of some things have to be reported as well. Of course, obviously, that's journalism. But man, the whole damn thing, if your whole timeline is filled with Kadyrov, Kinahan, this and that, Fighter doing this, John Jones doing this, McGregor doing that. Yeah.
I mean, get this comment. This is I'm going to answer Ryan's comment. He's basically saying what's sport washing. So this is kind of a term that's been brought up a lot. It's basically like using sports to like legitimize like I don't want to say like dictatorships and stuff. Like I don't know like what the term would be. Marcel, like just criminals, like almost like I don't know like how to put it.
For example, that you pay. For example, the news is that Kadyrov paid, for example, guys like Floyd Mayweather. What's his the Egyptian team right before the World Cup? They went to dinner with him in Chechnya, and he was sitting on a table with Mohamed Salah, who was the biggest guy in Egypt, definitely with football, soccer right now, but even I think the biggest Arabian guy in soccer right now. So Muslim, I should say. So that's it, and then trying to make it look positive. You know what I mean? And that's what they do with sports washing and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, we're talking already too long about this, I think.
Yeah, let me just get these other comments here.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Glenn, this is something we should talk about. Glenn said, I have no issue with the journalists. I'd like to see someone more professional other than the scripted question they usually ask for. Man, I agree. I think some of the questions are really bad, these days. Like, I think they need – I don't know what they're going to do. The thing is, like, there's just not many people covering the sport, So it is what it is. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I don't think the question was bad. I just think he followed up too much, and we are got a little pissed. Some fans hear about fighters and backstory. Some fans want me to root for both. I agree. I think you have to cover the negative stuff. Go ahead, quickly.
The thing for me is like you can ask those questions, and I'm not attacking the journalists who ask the questions, but for me, some other people, when you're a journalist and you're calling yourself a journalist for MMA, and the only thing you can talk about is like sports washing, that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's like, do you even like MMA?
I understand what you're saying. I get it. Dan, there's a new member of the chat. What's going on, man? Dan Coster. I have no idea how some of these guys get media passes. They have nothing to do with UFC reporting. He's actually a boxing guy. The guy asked the question. He just came to. I don't know who he is. His name's Al Dawson. I really don't know him. But I do know he's covered that's the thing. He's covered Kinahan. So like when this happened, it probably triggered this guy to be like, I have to go and ask this question because he's been reporting on it for months now, Marcel. So I get it. Like I don't think the question was wrong.
Me too.
I don't have a problem with the question. I don't think either of us do. It's just I think Munar gave him his answer multiple times. He didn't like the answer, kept pressing him. It's like, but he gave an answer, man. He's on the stand here, guys. He's a fighter. After his fight, he wanted to talk about his fight. I was a little disappointed because the guy's like, I don't have any questions about your fight. That's a little rude to me, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like they're only here because of the fighters. I keep saying this. I say it every day. We only have jobs because of these guys, Marcel. What the guy said was dumb to call this guy out, to shut him out, excuse me. And I think the questions were fair, but at a certain point, it's like he's not giving you the question you want. Just move on. That's my opinion, man. Again, don't have a problem with the question at all. But it just seemed like he was so riled up. It was, then you started hearing some fighting in the back with the Munar Lazez's team as well. They were yelling at the guy. I don't want to see this at the press conference. I don't think anyone does. It's not good. Marcel, it's just not good. So
the thing is, what really bothers me in journalism these days is that journalists, and it's not with this thing, but picking a certain side or have a certain view in their head, and everybody has to agree with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and if you don't agree with it, we cancel you because we don't like what you say. But for me, it's like if I don't agree with you about something, I'm either going to talk with you or I'm just letting it go. And not if it's news related. You know what I mean? And you can write about it in a non-biased way. But in many things with journalists, sometimes asking, it's like their own thoughts to others, and that's a bad thing for me. And it's also over here in the Netherlands a lot in the news that journalists, when they have a talk show, for example, and they inviting guests who they are not on the same line with, they're gonna talk bullshit for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes against them. And as a journalist, you should be non-biased, and that's, in my opinion, a big thing. But yeah, who am I?
I agree with Andrew. It's his fault. He shouldn't have brought this up because everyone would have been like, man, great performance. Your striking looked on point. You know what I mean? Instead, it's like, hey, why did you say this? It's his fault. I'm just saying, like, I do think, it was fair to ask the question, but we should have asked about the fight too because it was a pretty good fight. Let's go to the prelims here. There's a bunch of prelims. We'll go through them quick, Marcel. Devin Clark defeats William Knight, third round knockout.
Give me a second. Yeah.
What's up?
Huani, suck my nose. I thought to say it. Sorry.
Anyways, that's funny. Yeah, Clark looked. I mean, the first round was sketchy. Obviously, Knight won that round, I believe, but Clark took over after that. The wrestling just plays. He's got great wrestling and gets a knockout though. First knockout in the UFC, Marcel, for first finish for Devin Clark. His first finish since 2016, which was a hand injury over someone in RFA. His first real knockout since 2014. 8 years since he had his last knockout. So he needed this win. William Knight probably gets cut after this, right? Would you say?
I don't know for sure, man. I would
say
it was
short notice, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. So yeah, William Knight actually he held him against the cage in the beginning, and then he had that explosion where he almost had him. He kind of rocked him, but the Clark got away. But again, actually, it was like we said, man. Clark was going to take over eventually, and he did, and he finished him.
Yeah,
it was a good win for Clark, man.
I mean, how did he not get a bonus? He really deserved one for that knockout. He's his first one. He should have got a bonus, right?
And he accepted this fight on heavyweight as well, while he actually was supposed to fight at light heavyweight against Gamzatov.
Dan says Knight versus Barnett. Let's do it. I think that fight makes a lot of sense. Glenn, I agree with you. Not only that, but he actually talked about it. He said if this fight was at 205, he doesn't think his chin would have held up. He actually said that in the post-fight interview, Marcel. He said, because I didn't have to cut weight, I think that was the difference. He said, if I had to cut that weight, and also he was like, I was pretty surprised William Knight came in at 251 because he only came in at 223. And that was because I picked Clark, obviously, and I'm like, oh shit, like maybe Knight's just going to be like too big, but the technique just plays up, man. He's a great wrestler, man. He really is. Great wrestler. Boudet versus Mazer or Lindick. I think both those fights make sense. Lindick would be a great fight. Rosenstruck versus Volkov. Yeah, I guess Tibura must be really sick, because they usually just rebook the fight.
Mm-hmm. I think Rosenstruck's team didn't want it because the fight was already like rescheduled for 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
they wanted just one fight.
I don't blame them. All right, so Panny Kanza defeats Lena Landsberg. I mean, I think this was one of the better fights of the card, and Panny won the fight, but that second round was sketchy. Gets dropped with that elbow. Lena Landsberg called the elbow queen, I believe. Yeah, the elbow queen. I thought, Lena's she's not too bad, man. Honestly, she's one of the better fighters in the division. Even at age 40, she's still pretty tough. The fact that this fight went the distance is pretty crazy. Both girls were bloodied up. I want to show you this picture here, Marcel. I don't know if you've seen this one.
With the tooth.
Panny. Yeah, well, she doesn't have a tooth anymore. Mr. Two Front Teeth. I mean, this chick is she's tough as nails.
Call Darren Stewart.
She's one of my favorite female fighters in the UFC, Marcel. I really enjoy watching her fight. She's super tough. She likes to strike. She's just fucking great fighter. She called her Aspen Ladd. I love the fight. You like that fight, Aspen Ladd?
Yeah, I do. You, by the way, didn't call my joke what I said, right?
What would you say? I didn't even hear you.
I said call Darren Stewart.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, but do you like that fight though? Do you like that one?
Yeah, of course. Why not? I mean, I think she deserves it to get to get a higher ranked opponent.
They both lost to Raquel. They both just lost to the same person.
Makes sense. Makes lots of sense.
Yeah, I like the fight a lot. And then for Lena, I mean, she'll get another fight in the UFC. Now, this next one, I'm really, really happy that Jakar Close got a bonus. He deserved it. And I was worried because obviously he said some things about the UFC that weren't exactly positive, Marcel. But he gets the knockout here against Brand Jenkins. I mean, really just dominated. I think the first round was 10-8, and then the second round was more domination. Brand Jenkins is probably going to be cut off. He's not UFC caliber, but Jakar Close, he basically was like, took out all of his frustration for the last 2 years, Marcel. So, I didn't see this about Fanny. I thought she lost it in the fight. Okay, that makes sense. She hasn't had teeth in 4 years. But yeah, anyways, I love her. But Yeah, Marcel, any thoughts on this one? Jakar's performance?
Yeah, like I said, good. And I said on Twitter, if he doesn't get a performance bonus, we riot. And then I think Jason Hagholm went back to me and he's like, hey, Marcel, we don't have to riot. So, yeah, I think deserved, man. You know, many people were like, yeah, but he was a huge favorite. I mean, yeah, he was a huge favorite, but you still have to show it. You know what I mean? And it was very convincing what he showed, I think. 10-8 round in the first. Almost had Jenkins out already. The second round, he closed it immediately. So, yeah, great win for the Rock Close, and I hope he can get back on track because I think he's a good fighter. So yeah.
Trying to find the scorecard. I wanted to see if they scored a 10-8. I'm just trying to see it. I don't see them on UFC News, which is weird.
Let me check.
I can't find it. So, anyways, let me know. It's not a huge deal, but yeah, the card wasn't great, and Jakar definitely he deserved it though, man. I could see them using Jenkins. Maybe, yeah, he is called the highlight reel, but Jenkins was Patty. I mean, Patty would smash him. It was crazy. Jenkins was in PFL, right? And his management's like, hey, let's go take this fight on short notice in UFC against Guangzhou. Man, I think he should have stayed in PFL, Marcel, with Jenkins, because I think he would have had a chance to at least be in that tournament and win $1 million. UFC is just doesn't seem like he's UFC level. The wrestling's not there. Close called out Mark Madsen. He's pissed off at the old team, Eddie Shaw and those guys at Fight Ready. He used to be his coach. I don't know. He kept calling him a scumbag. I have no idea what happened. I was looking for like the backstory. Couldn't find anything. So
it's not there, by the way.
I know. I can't find the scorecard, so I don't know why they didn't release it. Anyways,
here it is.
Sorry.
Here it is. Three times 10-8.
Yeah. Oh, you did find it. Okay, cool. Just send it to the.
I'll make a screenshot, dude, because on the website.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I was just checking the Twitter. Let's go to the next fight here. Raf Garcia defeats Jesse Ronson. I did pick Garcia. He's one of the underdogs I picked on this card. I thought the wrestling would be the winning recipe for this fight, and pretty much turned out to that. I will say this, again, he landed a legal V2 in the second round. Another one in this card, Mark, so we have to mention in the second round. And at that point, the fight would have been 9-9, and in the first round he won. So then Jesse could have basically had a draw in the third round if he won it. But this guy gets the finish with 10 seconds left. I think he just went for it, and he got it. Raf Garcia's a good fighter, man, and he's 2-2 down the UFC. He wants a new contract. I think he'll get it. I think he's a pretty good fighter, Marcel. What do you think?
First of all, I sent it to you. Second of all, solid pick by you, dude. You picked Garcia. He did well, man. First round as well. He won the first round. Second round, he was winning. He landed that illegal blow, and he got a point deducted. But he was still winning the round, so it was going to be a 9-9. But he even finished it like 15 seconds before the end of the round. Good performance by Garcia, man. I really liked it, and I think who was Anik? Anik was that. Anik was like the whole time Rafa Garcia. I tweeted out. It's like, dude, this is the Brazilian. That was funny to me.
Yeah, that was funny.
But yeah, good performance by Garcia, dude.
Garcia was a good boxer. Man, I actually scored the fight for him.
Me too.
He had so much control in that fight, and I know Gritzmacher landed more strikes. That's why he won the fight. I'm just saying, watching that one, may have to rewatch it. I've only seen it the one time, but I remember scoring for Rafa. It was a very good fight. Boudet, we talked about already, gets the job done, Marcel. And I don't know, I think the Linux shutout makes sense. That would be a good fight. I think that would make a lot of sense. Help build him up. Jordan Levitt defeats Trey Ogden, split decision. I agree with the decision. I picked Ogden, but I thought he lost. I thought Jordan won the second and third round. It came down to the third round of the scorecards, by the way. 2 of them had it for Levitt and 1 for Ogden. Second round, DC was super confused, saying, do leg kicks count? Do we score leg kicks? I can't believe it. He said that. Obviously, they score. He landed, I think they said he was second to Benson Henderson all time in leg kicks landed, Marcel, in a fight, in a lightweight fight. He definitely won that round. There's no doubt, or in a round. It was one of the two. He won the fight, in my opinion. I think Levitt won the fight. Go ahead.
I can't believe people still take DC seriously as a commentator, man. I think he was a great fighter, but his commentary, he was also laughing like a child when Levitt was doing that weird ass split after he got the split decision, So he was like, I was like, dude, come on. Even, yeah, I don't know. But
how was the second round even close? I'm looking at the stats. Again, I know stats aren't the only thing, but I'm watching it, and a lot of people had him winning the second round. I'm like, Ogden. I'm like, how? 46-16 in significant strikes. There was no takedowns at all. How did he not win the round? Of course, leg kicks count. This isn't like 1995, Marcel. Why would we not score leg kicks? I can't believe he said that. I was just surprised. Weren't you?
Yeah, of course.
I think Cruz is like, wait, of course they count. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but Cruz always gives him a reality check, and people always shit on Cruz. But Cruz actually, the thing is, Cruz has a very monotone sound,
Yeah.
So people still give him shit for what he said in the McGregor against Khabib fight. That McGregor was kind of chilling out to making Khabib more tired at the moment when that people giving him still shit for. BT is so much better commentator than DC, dude. DC is a better commentator than DC, but I'm talking about bantamweight DC.
I agree. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Sam Hughes defeats Saul Nunez. Gets the upset win here. The first round did not go her way. And I'm watching the fight. I'm like, damn, she has to make an adjustment. You see my tweets or something? I'm like, go for a takedown. Why is she not going for a takedown? Once she gets the takedown, she just dominates the fight. So she saved her career in the UFC. She was 0-3. Now she's 1-3. Gets the job done. I didn't even know she changed camps. I should have known that. She went
Fortis.
Fortis. So that's a good move for her. And Safe is one of the better corners in the sport. After that first round, he's like, you lost that round. Like, you need to get going. Like, what are you doing? Like, and she got the job done. So
she DM'd me. I put out those fight announcement right on my Instagram, and I didn't have Fortis MMA in our gym, and she gave me a DM. She's like, dude, can you change it in Fortis MMA? I switched camps. It's like, oh, okay. So that's why I knew.
That's funny. Yeah, so she gets the job done. So it was a good win. And then Nunez, now I think she's lost both her fights, right? So her ground game sucks. Her striking's good though, great striking. So, and then the last fight, Altang Haley defeats Kevin Kroom, knockout, 47 seconds. I don't understand how he didn't get a bonus. He clearly deserved a bonus. Don't you think?
For sure, man. I don't know why not. I also tweeted out like cards like this don't give fight and give 4 bonuses. You know what I mean?
Should have been Clark and him, I think, and then I don't think Garcia. I mean, Garcia looked good, but with the illegal knee, I wouldn't have given it to him.
Yeah.
Clark and Altang should have got it. I think. Don't you think?
I agree fully.
So overall, not a great card. I mean, we're being honest. We're being real here. Let's go to just do Bellator quickly, Marcel, as well, before we get out of here. So pretty crazy card. I mean, a lot of favorites won, and then the last 2 fights basically upsets. Now we'll just talk about the top 2 fights. So Pitbull gets the win over AJ McKee. I'm not surprised. I mean, Pitbull is a great fighter, one of the better fighters in Bellator history. I thought the fight was super close. I think it could have went either way, personally, Marcel. And I don't think anyone could be too confident in the scorecard. I just think it was a super close fight. Any thoughts? Did you watch it? Any thoughts?
I had 2 rounds for Pitbull, 1 round for McKee, and 2 rounds were really close. You know what I mean? So that was. I only had 3 convincing rounds, so it could have gone either way, in my opinion. It could have been 49-46 Pitbull or 48-47 McKee for me. You know what I mean? So could also be 48-47 Pitbull. So
I agree.
Yeah, I understand it sucks for McKee. Definitely, if your corner says you're 4-0 up. So I understand this reaction, but on the other hand, the thing is, I think McKee said he didn't want to didn't make 145 again. So if he has to go to 155, he has to fight the brother, Patricio Pitbull. Yeah, why not? I don't mind, but we'll see what's happening. The thing is now, you can't do the lightweight title between Patricio and McKee anymore because Patricio vacated and Patricio won it. So, but there's a story, right? If they do McKee versus Patricio, but I think there are other contenders as well. So I don't know what they're going to
do. Yeah, it was just super close, man. It could have went either way. Yeah, I think the scorecards make sense. I think we all agree with that. And then we got to talk about the other fight. So the Dean Nemcard, Corey Anderson. I did pick Anderson, Marcel, and he was going to win the fight, no doubt about it. And accidental clash of heads with 5 seconds left in the 3rd round. If that fight went to the end of the 3rd round, it went to the scorecards.
3 seconds.
5 seconds early. It's saying 5. I thought it was 3-2, but it's saying 5 on here officially, I guess. But I thought 3 at the time. Crazy, eh? Because Corey would have won $1 million. It's just crazy. They're going to rematch at some point. Any thoughts on this fight, though? I mean, it seemed like Corey was on the way to a win, man.
Yeah, you know what it is, man. The thing with these kind of stuff is like, it just sucks, because Corey was doing really well, and now he has to start over again. You know what I mean? And you don't know how it starts now over again. So it's like kind of some injustice. But on the other hand, you don't want to win a belt like that, I think. But I understand from Corey's point of view. Obviously, you want to win the $1 million. You want to win the belt. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter how. But from the public kind of view, I think it's a good thing that we're going to see a rematch. But I feel for Corey, man, because he was doing really well.
No doubt. And then Aaron Pico knocks out Adley Edwards, just completely beat the shit out of him. I mean, this guy's super tough, though, man. I'll say that. That guy is really, really fucking tough. But, man, what a beatdown. And then Linton Vassell somehow comes back after getting rocked by Tim Johnson, knocks him out. So pretty good main card, honestly. I didn't really catch a lot of the prelims. Honestly, guys, they were all mismatches. People were like, "Oh my god, look at he finishes." I'm like, "Yeah, these guys were all minus 1,000 favorites, guys. What did you expect?" Like, but there was one crazy fight between Rogelio Luna and Socrates Hernandez, just an insane fight, and Luna gets the win. That was one of the closest fights in the card according to the odds, like the closest one. So that was.
Do you know what this guy made for the fight?
2,000 and 2,000.
Yeah, I mean, Luna made 2 + 2, and Hernandez made 2K.
It's disgusting, man. That's really disgusting. Now I will say they gave Corey Anderson 250K. Adley Edwards made 50K. There's some guys making good money in Bellator, but the guys in the bottom of the prelims are making 2,000 a show and 2,000 to win. That dude got the shit kicked out of him for $2,000, and they don't do fight of the night bonuses in Bellator, so it's not like he could have been like, I'm getting 50K later on. They should have given him a bonus. I doubt it though. I bet Cocker was like, nice job. We'll have you back, kid, for another fight. Marcel. Like, I think that was it. Anyways, pretty crazy. And then, like I said, there were some other cards. I just wanted to mention this guy in LFA. There was a huge, I would say a huge upset. There was a small upset in the main event. Let me just get the guy's name. Cortez Acosta. Yeah, Waldo Cortez Acosta. So when I was doing my opening odds for this last week, because I know Thomas Peterson's a great prospect, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, Thomas Peterson, who is this guy? And then I'm just like looking at his record, and I'm like, whoa, this guy's legit. Like, he's got great wins, and he's got boxing experience. He could win this fight, and he did. Knocks him out, Marcel. So, any thoughts on this? It's a big win for this guy, and we're hearing the UFC maybe, right?
Yeah, that might be next for him, and cannot say anything more about it yet. But he's definitely on the list, and he looks solid. He looked really good, and he also fought in Bellator before. I think he fought Moderiz in Bellator.
Yeah.
So he's a fun guy to watch, and I think guy from the Dominican Republic. I mean, there are not many fighters in the UFC from the Dominican Republic. I think nobody actually. So, yeah, why not? I like it.
No doubt about it. And let's get some comments. We'll get out here in a minute, guys. Buckley and Till. Yeah, they were talking smack out. Camzat doesn't know who Buckley is.
I think that was legit from Camzat. People are like, he's talking shit. I think it was legit. He didn't have no idea what it is.
That's too funny. Yeah. Apparently he might not. I mean, he might not watch like other fights, it's possible. So that was kind of funny.
You see, when Buckley loses to Abus, the fight with Buckley and Abus is off, man. It's likely going to be Buckley against Albert Duraev, but that's in the works and not set yet.
This guy's talking about Dean Barry. Yeah, he's like one of the biggest favorites like in the UFC history right now. Like there's not 4-figure favorites in UFC. Usually the fights are tight. This is we'll talk about this fight tomorrow. This looks like a mismatch. I'll just say that. Anyways, I think that's it for today, Marcel, that I want to talk about. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here? Is there something else?
No, not really. To be really honest, I can't recall.
All right, let's get out of here then. So you guys, I hope you guys had a good time today. I did love doing the podcast with you, Marcel. It's always fun. Be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, guys. We're going to break down UFC Vegas 52. So we'll go through all those fights.
If all fights are there.
We'll see what fights are. I might wake up tomorrow, half the card is canceled. Like, who knows at this point. Hopefully there's still, some replacement opponents for these guys, but we'll see. Anyways, Marcel, just plug your stuff. Let's get out of here.
Big Marcel 24, Twitter and Instagram. Eurosport.nl, mixed martial arts section.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that, man. It's a good show. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, like I said, guys, 5 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, follow me on Twitter at mmadmartin, podcast MMAOddsbreaker.com, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all those places. I'm also at MiamiNews.com, MMAOddsbreaker.com, bookies.com. Have my best bets out for this card probably Wednesday on that website. So check that out. Guys, have a great day. Talk to you soon. Peace.